Page 22, O Sole Mio. Very famous melody. Got quite a bit going on here, so we got some things to discuss. At the top of the page, they're showing you some new ledger line notes. I'll leave it to you to memorize those from now on. You should already know the C. That's two ledger lines above the treble clef staff is a C. We've had that before. Remember, the C's are symmetrical. So that middle C is in the middle of the grand staff. And if you go two lines below the bass clef, that's a C. They're symmetrical. Well, the B and the A you can figure out, but you need to know those notes. They're also showing an alternative form of the 5-7 chord. Well, I've already discussed that. Remember, the 5-7 chord, we're in the key of C major. So the 5 chord in C major is the white keys. The 5 chord is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's here, a G chord. And if we do the 7, the here, G7 chord, or 5-7 chord in the key of C major, there's 4 notes in the chord. We don't always use them all. Generally, we do that. The D is there, we just don't need it. We don't use it. Well, I told you before, on this one, you need the top and bottom note. You need the G and the F. Gotta have those. But of these other notes, either one or both. So I could do here or I could do here. It's the same chord, it's just a different slight arrangement. So here they're using this other arrangement of the 5-7 chord. Big deal. You use 4th finger on it though. Don't go 3rd finger. Use 4th finger. Here. All right, let's talk this Mio thing and see what we're getting into. I look it over. I see it's about 1.5 pages long. Treble and bass clef. No sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major, so make sure you can do the scales for C major and A minor. At least 1 octave up and down. If you're comfortable with the scales, that you can play them smoothly, like I explained in the video, and you don't have to look at the keyboard, you can feel your way okay, then you'd be ready to go 2 octaves. But until you're comfortable with the 1 octave, forget 2 octaves. Don't rush it. That messes it up. And then 4/4 time signature. Let's take it one hand at a time to see what's going on here. The right hand starts here. And it's 1, 2, 3. And you don't need these other finger numbers until we get down to measure 6 when we have to move. So please don't be reading finger numbers. 2, 4, 1. We got some tied notes here. You just hang on to them a little longer. Now measure 6, it's a 1 and then a 4. We're taking advantage of the repeated note to change hand positions to get ready for what's coming. So here. We don't have to be in this position. We just need to be able to cover these notes. Well, I could have covered these notes here. I could have been in this position. So I could have gone 1, 3. Because there I could use 1. You're going to find there's different ways of fingering the music, excuse me. Different styles of fingering. So it's not well, you absolutely got to finger it this way. Or one person had the feeling that since he fingered the scale a certain way, he had to finger it that way in the music. No, you may or may not. I mean, that's usually your first choice if possible, but it doesn't always work out. You got to finger whatever fingering you need. So a finger could be on any note. That's why we don't read finger numbers. So on measure 6, you can go 1, 4 or 1, 3. Either one, I don't care. Then on measure 9, you get 1 beat rest to come back up here. And A flat. Since 3rd finger's on A, I'll use it on A flat. 1. Now, let's talk about this accidental. Measure 9, you have the A flat. And you know that accidental is good for the rest of the measure in that staff. Well, and the next measure is not good anymore. That's why they have to put in another flat sign. But when a note is tied across a bar line, you keep the note. So this is one of the exceptions to that rule that it's only good for that measure. No, unless it's tied. Hang on to it. So that A flat, hang on to that for 5 counts. You don't change it just because you changed the bar line. No. Hang on it. And then the other one, the last one would be an A natural because it's in a different measure now than the flat sign was. So they put a flat in front. They have to. and then lift up and come down. Yeah. Now, measure 17, you have 1 beat rest to come up here. You're basically playing the song again way up high. Okay. And you can use the same fingering. Left hand, well, it's got the chords. It's got the C here, and then this chord. If you take them all together, it's a C chord. It's a broken C chord. So they don't have to be in the same measure, it's still a broken chord. And then we have the 5/7 chord. We're doing that with, okay. Measure 10, F, A flat. If you don't want to be up in here, then reach up and use 3/2. Because this is one of the fingerings for this chord. And so we're just not using the top one. You can do that. Otherwise, you can do that if you want. I don't know how big your hands are. Huh? And the left hand really isn't moving around too much until the very end when you have to come down here. Which is fine because that lets us focus more on the right hand because it is moving around. So I'll put the hands together. And when I first put the hands together, I usually hesitate. That's fine. At first it is. It's here. Listen. Then here. Then here. And when I play the second B, the left hand comes out. 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I work it out real carefully at your speed. Get all the hands working together okay. And then go back through it a few hundred times, slowly and carefully, and get rid of the hesitations. So it's a steady beat. That's really important. Once you can do that, then we'll add the articulation. And this is connected. This is very connected. And then lift up. We'll just go ahead and lift up between these curved lines in the right hand. The left hand, you do your best to connect it. You can't, but you do your best to connect. It's very connected. Then the dynamics. MF at the beginning is mezzo forte, which is moderately loud, medium loud, sort of loud, whatever you think. It's not loud, just sort of, okay. That's the melody. In this case, it's the right hand. This left hand needs to be soft. Very light, or light in the left hand. Here. Don't play them the same. No, keep this left hand out of the way. Ugh. That takes control. Well, again, that's one of the things you can practice with the scales. While you're practicing the scale, whatever speed you take it, practice playing one hand loud and one hand soft. Soft at the same time. So you get that feeling of heavy light, and then switch it. Let this hand and this soft. So you get accustomed to that. That way, in the music, you just do it. One of the beauties of practicing these dynamics and things with the scales is it also helps you in that you're practicing the scale more because of it. And that it's a win-win situation, really. But you're starting out sort of loud. Measure 9, you get the hairpin to go up, and then measure 11, you come back down. You're just going to go up for a little while and come out. So, loud. Here. One of the things we can do, and this is part of interpreting the music, because these dynamic in here, they're just guides. They're general guides to go by. Is a measure 9, I can come down sort of soft and go and land on that. I got more room to get louder if I start a little softer. So here and then and now measure 13 you go so measure 14 or measure 15 you start going softer to 16. I got my numbers confused. I do that sometimes. So a measure 14 you're sort of loud here. Now and now you're moderately soft. Well, that's easier to do when you're up here because you can get softer going up. The trick is you got to be real soft in the left hand. measure 25, you're going to get louder again, then come back down. Okay. The last two measures. You're soft here. All the time I'm doing this, I want to hear that. Don't drown it out. See, because that's melody. We want to hear that. Then the speed. Andante, they say it's a walking speed, but how fast do you walk? To me, moderato is a walking speed. Moderato is like when you're going someplace and you know where you're going. It's boom, boom, I'm walking here. Not in a hurry to get there, I'm just walking there. Andante is when you're walking, but you're just strolling along, you're not headed anywhere. Just boom, take your time, whatever. That's about an andante. However, you have to be careful. Again, those are guides. A lot of times the music, the tempo isn't necessarily the beat. It's the feel of the piece. In this piece, a lot of times this is felt in too. These half notes in the left hand would be where they're the natural accents. So 1, 2, 1. Well, that speeds it up quite a bit. So the beat would go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's getting a little quick here. But if you feel the piece, that's what it is. However, that's interpretation. If you don't like it that fast, that's fine. Take it slower. It's interpretation. How do you feel it? Me, it depends on how much coffee I've had to drink or wine or whatever. I play by feel, so whatever. I play it different every time. And then finally the pedal. Well, again, why are we pedaling? Here, we're pedaling to add the overtones because this is slow enough. We got time to hear the notes, so we want to color them. Also, we can connect some of these notes that we can't connect, like in the second measure. I can't connect those G's. I'll use the pedal. That helps me to do that. Same with the next measure. But we have to be careful. Again, they're keeping the pedaling simple for you, and that's fine, except then you get used to hearing the junk. If I pedal it just the way it's shown, this is what I get, at least for part of it. See? And if you're not listening too carefully, that doesn't sound too bad. Otherwise, it's terrible. It really is. I don't want to pedal all these quarter notes. I don't want to smear them. And I want to hear the rest in the left hand. Now, so it's like I don't pedal I could connect these two C's at the beginning by just pedaling those two C's and then lifting up if I want to connect them. You have to consider things because it has more effect on the sound than just connecting the notes. It adds the overtones. You gotta listen. Or, see, which sound do you want? I think at the beginning it's better without the pedal, not the overtones, until we get to the second measure here. But I'm gonna lift the pedal with the right hand. So I'm not smearing these eighth notes or quarter notes. So again, at the beginning, again, see in measure 7, they do have you lifting up. Well, I'm doing that on these other measures too. I don't want to smear those either. I think that's a better sound. A measure 10 when you're here. I don't want to smear it. I don't want all that. Well, I want to keep the melody kind of clean. I don't want to get it too. Now, some pieces you do want the melody to get all because that's the effect of the piece. But this is a love song, and I don't want any in the middle of the lovin', so we don't do that. And I pedal the whole thing that way. Now, the last two measures, when you're here, you can do that if you want. If you want all that sound at the end, or if you don't, change the pedal on the last measure. And that cleans out all the other sound, and all you get is the C's and their overtones. That's personal. That's interpretation. Which do you like? You try them both out. See. You experiment. Please don't copy me. That's just one way of doing it. If I played it again, I would play it a little differently. I play by feel. Remember the nasal accents? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3. Feel the natural accents as you go through this too. Now there is an RIT in the next, toward the bottom, the last three measures. Retard on, you slow down a little bit. However fast you're going. Just slow it down, whatever. Don't slow it down too much, because then these longer notes just and you think, is this ever going to end? So just slow that. And how fast you're going there, keep that speed for the rest of it. Just slow down a little bit. Now, once you can play this slowly with no interruptions, hesitations, excuse me. I don't know about the interruptions. That's different. Let's play it together and check that you have the correct notes and rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and softs. I will do the pedaling as I suggested, so you can see that and hear it too. So I'll give us 4 counts for the 4/4, and then we have a rest on B1. That's 5 total. So we're just checking notes and rhythms. That's all this is for. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 4. 1, 4 off.